Okay, let's hope that this works. Hello, everyone. I'm just waiting for Shabana to join. Just give us like 2 minutes maybe. Okay, so I think, yeah, the issue is that I'm in Dubai and, nobody else can join the live. So let's go forward with the session. I think I've kept you guys waiting for too long. If you guys have any queries or doubts, please let me know. If you're comfortable with a certain language also, please feel free to inform me. So we were primarily going to talk about how emotional abuse affects relationships. How is it that you can identify these signs? How is it that you can overcome something that you're going through? One very common element that comes under emotional abuse is gaslighting. It's a very vast topic. If we had to talk about abuse in general, there are so many parts to it. So we have narrowed it down to gaslighting. And yeah, okay, I'm getting questions in between, and I think I'll take it towards the end. So yes, what exactly is gaslighting? If you guys have an understanding of it, please feel free to type it down. I will just explain it in layman terms, in simple terms. Gaslighting primarily means that a person is being manipulated in a relationship by certain dialogues being used by the other half. So say two people are in a relationship and one person may be dominant, the other may be submissive. In that case, yes, when there are dialogue exchanges or when there is any kind of connection there, what happens is the dominant one kind of, manipulates the submissive one into thinking a certain way. So yeah, what happens is if I have a sense of reality and someone starts to manipulate or gaslight me, I start to think that, oh my God, is something wrong with me? What am I thinking? Is what I'm thinking valid? So these kind of questions arise and I start to doubt myself. That is what happens in gaslighting. Majority of the time, the dominant person could be narcissistic. That person may have narcissistic traits. Now, what exactly narcissism is? It is that a person has a heightened sense of self-esteem. Suppose I'm a narcissistic person. I assume that everything I'm saying or doing is right. Everything I'm saying or doing is the only thing that is right. What others are saying does not matter. Others' feelings, others' emotions, all those things are not valid. So what happens in this case is when you're involved with a narcissistic person, that person tries to manipulate your reality. That person wants to have things their own way, which is why they say that, oh, whatever you're doing is not right. The things that you're saying is not right. And then you start doubting yourself. So this is what primarily happens in the relationship. So this, like I mentioned, happens in abusive relationships mostly. And it's hidden. You don't identify that some kind of emotional abuse is happening with you because you love this person. So you assume that, okay, yeah, maybe this person is right. Maybe, I am wrong. That is the whole element of it, or that is how it works. Now, like I said, the victim of gaslighting, starts to feel that I'm not sufficient, I'm not enough, to an extent that, you may not even feel like living. It can get that bad. That's what happens. They feel like they're losing their sanity because someone has made them believe that way, right? So, like I mentioned, it's common with people who have narcissistic personality disorder. And yeah, so Narcissists are usually pathological liars. They have their way of working things out. So anything you tell them, when you start questioning them also, they will not budge. They'll never admit that, what they're saying is wrong, what they're doing is wrong. So even if you have solid evidence to show them that this is what is happening, it won't work out. Yeah, comment the topic and pin it. I will do that. Social abuse and awareness around it. Yeah, I'm pinning it for you. I'm so sorry, I'm fumbling a little bit because this was supposed to be a two-person thing, and because of the network issues, it's not working out. So yes, where did I stop? Yeah, gaslighters, or the person who gaslights another, they're usually pathological liars, so they don't hesitate lying at all. So even if you call them out, or even if you prove that yes, they're not being rational, they'll not admit it. They'll just go like, oh no, what you're saying is not right, or I was in a vulnerable situation. They try to make excuses. They try to say that I'm so sorry. I mean, they barely say sorry. They're like, I'm sorry this happened, but it's probably that you are blowing up the situation. So that kind of blame game tends to happen. Now, how do you identify these things? Say, like I mentioned earlier, when you're in love with someone, you don't realize that, they're not being right to you, or they're not being fair to you. Because when you love somebody, you just tend to see only the good side of it, or you tend to think that, oh, this person wouldn't hurt me much, right? So when this happens, there is a bias because you have a liking towards a certain person. You kind of, refuse to believe that this person could do something bad to you. Whereas if it was a stranger and that person was doing this, you would clearly see it, which is why it is very often easy to give a second opinion on a relationship when you're an outsider. But when you're within the relationship, it gets really hard because you've been with this person and, you guys have had a journey together. It's not just a romantic relationship, it could be family, it could be friends, it could be your workplace. So anybody can, go through this. It's not just in a romantic relationship that emotional abuse prevails. So yes, like I mentioned, what do gaslighters exactly do? They discredit you, they blame you a lot, they tend to gossip about you, they tend to say that whatever you're doing is not right. So basically they paint a bad image of you in front of others. They try to distract you a lot. They change the subject. Whenever you try to bring up something that is hurting you, they go like, oh no, that's not how it is. You're probably assuming things, or you're just, making it up. And they minimize your thought and feelings. Say you're hurt, and you say that what you did to me is not right. So they go like, that's not the case. Your feelings probably aren't that important. They put it out there because they're narcissistic. They tell you that your feelings are not valid on your face, which is why, you tend to feel very suffocated in the relationship, right? Shifting the blame. Suppose you're confronting this person, you're saying that, let's take the example of cheating. You say that, you cheated on me, this was not right of you to do, I never expected this out of you. And this person shifts the blame onto you by saying that, you never gave me enough attention, I did not feel wanted in the relationship, which is why I cheated. So they try to justify their actions by shifting the blame onto you. So this happens, you cannot identify who the victim is. So in cases like this, it's like I mentioned, it's important to have a second person opinion, somebody who's out of the relationship, preferably a professional. Why? Because a professional can always give you an unbiased opinion. If you go to your friends or your family, it gets difficult because these people know you and they have this image about you, and their decisions would be on that basis, right? Now, narcissists or people who gaslight, they tend to deny these facts. They tend to deny any accusations made on them. They use compassionate words to distract you because they know that is your weakness. So telling you things like, I love you, I will not do it again. I did this because I was feeling very upset. These kind of things tend to happen. And they also go back and they rewrite the event. Like I mentioned, if it's cheating, they tend to say that, oh, I did this when you were on a trip and, I was feeling very lonely. They try to create an image inside your head. So if I had to give you an example from a movie, it's Drishyam. I'm presuming a lot of you must have watched it. What happens in that movie is actually that they try to shift the reality and they try to make people believe that that is the reality. That is exactly what gaslighting is, right? I think I can take some doubts. Do you want more examples? Yes, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. If not, I will explain the types of gaslighting for you. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So when I tell you the types of gaslighting, I will come up with more examples. Countering, that is questioning your memory. When you share your narrative with the person, they go like, are you remembering it right? Do you have a bad memory? Because I don't remember saying this. I don't remember doing this. Are you just making things up? This is one way of gaslighting a person. Some example in Malayalam, if you could. Okay, I will try that. Withholding, refusing to engage in a conversation. അതായത് ഇപ്പം വിക്ടിം ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചെയ്യാണ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കൺഫ്രണ്ട് ചെയ്യുകയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒന്നും അറിയാത്ത പോലെ നടിക്കുക. അതായത് അയ്യോ എന്താണ് ഈ പറയണത്, എനിക്കറിയൊന്നുമില്ല, വെറുതെ ഉണ്ടാക്കി പറയണതാണോ ഈ കാര്യം, എനിക്ക് ആകെ കൺഫ്യൂഷൻ ആകുന്നു. ഒരു സത്യത്തിനെ നമ്മൾ ചോദ്യം ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു റെസ്പോൺസ് കിട്ടുന്നതും ഗ്യാസ് ലൈറ്റിങ്ങിന്റെ ഒരു ഫോമാണ്. പിന്നെ നമ്മളൊരു കാര്യം അഡ്രസ്സ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ എനിക്ക് വിഷമം തോന്നി ആൻഡ് ഐ എം അഡ്രസ്സിങ് ദിസ് ടു മൈ പാർട്ട്ണർ. സോ വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻസ് ഹിയർ ഇസ്, അയ്യോ ഇങ്ങനെ ഡ്രമാറ്റിക് ആവേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല, ഇതിന് മാത്രം ഇപ്പൊ ഇവിടെ എന്താ സംഭവിച്ചത്, കരയാൻ മാത്രം ഒന്നുമില്ലല്ലോ, ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ്സ് ഒക്കെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതും ഇസ് എ ഫോം ഓഫ് ഗ്യാസ് ലൈറ്റിംഗ്. ബേസിക്കലി ഞാൻ എന്റെ ഫീലിങ്സ് എക്സ്പ്രസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എന്റെ പാർട്ട്ണർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്റെ മദർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്റെ ഫാദർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എനിബഡി ഐ ലവ് ഇസ് ടെലിംഗ് മീ ദാറ്റ് ഐ എം ജസ്റ്റ് ബീങ് ടു സെൻസിറ്റീവ്, ഐ എം ബീങ് ഓവർ സെൻസിറ്റീവ്, റൈറ്റ്? ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ഫോം ഓഫ് ഗ്യാസ് ലൈറ്റിംഗ്. Because what you feel and what you experience is valid, right? Nobody else can tell you that, okay, this is not how it's supposed to be, because what you experience, emotions, feelings, whatever it is, only you know what you're going through, right? Denial, like I said, illa njan inganonnu cheyittilla, endana ee parayanathu, that kind of thing, completely denying that an event happened or an incident happened, that is a form of gaslighting. Diverting the topic, I mentioned this earlier. അതായത് കഴിഞ്ഞ പ്രാവശ്യം എന്താ പറയാ, നമ്മൾ തല്ലുകൂടിയപ്പോൾ നീ അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്തില്ലേ, നീ ഇങ്ങനെ ചെയ്തില്ലേ. സോ ബ്രിങ്ങിങ് അപ്പ് തിങ്സ് ഫ്രം ദ പാസ്റ്റ് or bringing up statements that have been involved in your conversation in the past, that is a form of gaslighting. അതായത് ഇപ്പൊ നടക്കുന്ന സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ ഡൈവേർട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് മുന്നേ നടന്നിട്ടുള്ള തല്ലുകളോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മുന്നേ നടന്നിട്ടുള്ള പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ടുവരിക, സോ ദാറ്റ് യുവർ ഫോക്കസ് ഷിഫ്റ്റ്സ് ഫ്രം ദിസ് പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടോപ്പിക്. That is a form of gaslighting. Now, stereotyping. പെൺകുട്ടികൾ കരയാൻ പാടില്ല, താൻ പെണ്ണായതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇങ്ങനെ കരഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്, ഇത്രയൊന്നും ഡ്രമാറ്റിക് ആവേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആണുങ്ങളായാലും ബോൾഡായിരിക്കണം, ആണുങ്ങളായിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനൊന്നും ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ല, അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ല. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ എ ഫോം ഓഫ് ഗ്യാസ് ലൈറ്റിംഗ്, മേക്കിംഗ് യു ബിലീവ് ദാറ്റ് യുവർ ഫീലിംഗ്സ് ആർ നോട്ട് വാലിഡ്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ദി എൻറ്റയർ ഫോം ഓഫ് gaslighting. How to confront people like that? That's a good question. So here boundaries are very important. ഈ ബൗണ്ടറീസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? പലപ്പോഴും നമ്മളെ ലൈഫിലൊക്കെ നമ്മൾ ഫാമിലിക്കായാലും ഫ്രണ്ട്സിനായാലും ഒരുപാട് ലിബർട്ടി കൊടുക്കാറുണ്ട് ടു കോമെന്റ് ഓൺ തിങ്സ് ഇൻ യുവർ ലൈഫ് be it your dressing, be it the way you carry yourself, be it your education, be it your marriage life, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ കല്യാണം കഴിക്കേണ്ട ചോയ്സ്, ഒത്തിരി ഒത്തിരി കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ പലവർക്കും പല എന്താ പറയുക ഇൻപുട്സ് ഉണ്ടാവും തരാൻ. സോ who do we allow into our lives? How much can we allow people into our lives? That is very very important, right? അപ്പോൾ ഇത് ഐഡന്റിഫൈയിൽ ഭയങ്കര ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആണ്. You need to decide who you can let into your close circle. So suppose an outsider അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു കല്യാണത്തിന് പോയിട്ട് someone is commenting on your height, weight, complexion, anything of that sorts. How do you respond? യൂഷ്വലി നമുക്ക് തിരിച്ചൊന്നും പറയാനുള്ള ധൈര്യം ഉണ്ടാവില്ല, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മെനി പീപ്പിൾസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് സപ്രസ് വാട്ട് ദേ ഫീൽ. അപ്പം ഇങ്ങനത്തെ സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ ഇഫ് യു ഗിവ് ദം an answer, I'm not saying you're supposed to back answer, all I'm saying is എന്റെ കോംപ്ലക്ഷനെ കുറിച്ച് നിങ്ങൾ കമന്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല, ഇതെനിക്ക് ഉള്ള ഒരു ട്രീറ്റ് ആണ്, അതിനെ കുറിച്ച് നിങ്ങൾ കമന്റ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഷട്ടിങ് someone out or that is making a boundary, right? അതേപോലെ തന്നെ ഇപ്പം ഫാമിലിയിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ ഒത്തിരി നമ്മൾ ഫീലിങ്സിന് റെസ്പെക്ട് ചെയ്യാത്ത ആൾക്കാരുണ്ട് എന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ the word no, it's just a 2-letter word, and most of the time it's the most difficult word to use. It's very important that we learn to say no. So കുറേയൊക്കെ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഈ ബൗണ്ടറീസ് സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്തത് കൊണ്ടാണ് ഗ്യാസ് ലൈറ്റിംഗ് സംഭവിക്കുന്നത്. So if you can use strong statements and if you're very clear about your own beliefs, that will really help a lot. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ നമ്മൾ ബിലീഫ്സ് സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ സെൽഫ് കെയർ ഇസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. അപ്പം സെൽഫ് കെയർ എന്നുള്ളൊരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഇപ്പം നമ്മൾ പറയുമ്പം ദർ ആർ മെനി എലമെന്റ്സ് ടു ഇറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, സോഷ്യൽ ആസ്പെക്ട് ഉണ്ട്, അതായത് നമ്മൾ ആൾക്കാരായിട്ട് ഇടപഴകുന്ന രീതി. ഫിസിക്കൽ ആസ്പെക്ട്, നമ്മളുടെ ബോഡി, നമ്മളുടെ ഹെൽത്ത്, ഇത് കെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നത് ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ എ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് സെൽഫ് കെയർ. ഇമോഷണൽ വെൽബീങ്, അതായത് മെന്റലി നമ്മൾ എത്രത്തോളം സെയിൻ ആണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എത്രത്തോളം ഹെൽത്തി ആയിട്ടാണ് ചിന്തിക്കുന്നത്, എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ സിറ്റുവേഷൻസിനോട് റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ളത്. ദിസ് ഇസ് ഓൾ എ പാർട്ട് ഓഫ് സെൽഫ് കെയർ, റൈറ്റ്? പിന്നെ ഫിനാൻഷ്യൽ സ്റ്റെബിലിറ്റി ഈസ് ഓൾസോ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. ദീസ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് തിങ്സ് ഓൾ കം ഹാൻഡ് ഇൻ ഹാൻഡ്, ദേ വർക്ക് ടുഗെദർ ഹാൻഡ് ഇൻ ഹാൻഡ്. അപ്പം ഈ സെൽഫ് ലവ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റും സെൽഫ് കെയറിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടാണ് പറയാറ് യൂഷ്വലി. Now, self-love is not just pampering yourself, by taking yourself out or just having a good evening. That is also an integral part, but that's not the only idea of self-care. Self-care മെയിൻ ആയിട്ട് നമ്മളുടെ ഇമോഷണൽ വെൽബീങ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പം അതിൽ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ നമ്മൾ ബൗണ്ടറീസ് സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. We should understand that, we need to have an ideology for ourselves. നമ്മൾ ഇൻഡിപെൻഡന്റ് ആണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ എന്താ പറയാ, if we have an idea of what to do, what we want, what we don't want, that really helps in self-care. Yeah. So I guess I'm clear about that. Now, self-efficacy is also important. What is self-efficacy? എനിക്ക് ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷനെ തരണം ചെയ്യാൻ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ ഓവർകം ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു ബിലീഫ് ഉണ്ട്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എബിലിറ്റി ഉണ്ട്, ആൻഡ് ഐ ഹാവ് ദ വിൽ പവർ ടു വർക്ക് ഇറ്റ് ഔട്ട്. ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ഐ ഹാവ് സെൽഫ് എഫിക്കസി. സോ ദി എഫിഷ്യൻസി യു ഹാവ് ഇൻ എ പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ സിറ്റുവേഷൻ വെൻ യു ഹാൻഡ്ലിംഗ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ഓൾസോ വെരി വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ഇമോഷണൽ അബ്യൂസ് പ്രിവെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ നമ്മൾ സ്ട്രോങ് ആണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫിസിക്കൽ അബ്യൂസ് പോലും അതെ നമ്മൾ പ്രിവെന്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ നമ്മൾ സ്ട്രോങ് ആണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, ഇഫ് വി ക്യാൻ ടേക്ക് എ സ്റ്റാൻഡ് ഫോർ അവർ സെൽസ്, these things can be prevented. So your body, your mind, these things belong to you more than anybody else. നമ്മളത് വേറൊരാൾക്ക് വല്ലാണ്ട് ലിബർട്ടി കൊടുക്കുമ്പോഴാണ് അവിടെ ഒരു പ്രശ്നം പറ്റി പോകുന്നത് മെജോറിറ്റി ഓഫ് ദ ടൈം. സോ യെസ്, ഐ ഹോപ്പ് ദ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഇസ് ക്ലിയർ. I'm so sorry, my language, like my Malayalam is very colloquial, which is why I don't use it much, but I hope the concept is clear. Anything else that you guys would like to know, any doubts you have, any concerns that you would like to share, anything that I can help you with, then please let me know. Okay, thank you. Anything that you guys would like to know, I would be more than glad to reply. Anything related to physical abuse, domestic violence, emotional abuse, anything related to counseling, anything related to mental health, emotional well-being, I would be more than glad to help. Do you think narcissistic people are capable of change? So in majority of the cases, it's very difficult to get narcissistic people to think in a certain way, because they have their sense of belief, they have their heightened sense of self-esteem, they think that the world revolves around them. But if they have insight that, okay, I need to change, then yes, we can help them. We as counselors or psychiatrists, anybody for that matter, professionals can definitely help them. But if they think that, oh, okay, I don't have a problem, I don't think I should change, then of course it's not easy. That's the case with any mental health disabilities, if you have a certain level of insight, if you want to push yourself, if you want to overcome it, then yes, external help really is beneficial. In majority of the cases, narcissistic personality disorder, if it is diagnosed, it requires a lot of follow-ups. And if those follow-ups are carried out properly, then yes, there is a possibility of change. I wouldn't say that it's, impossible to change them. It's a lot of work, but yes, it can definitely be changed. Any other questions? I saw a couple of pharmacy related questions. The page will definitely get back to you on it. Could you tell us what insight is? So insight basically means that you have an awareness of what is happening with you. Say I'm feeling lonely, I'm feeling sad. I don't try to deny it. I accept it. I am aware of what is happening with my mind. I'm aware of what is happening with my body, and I try to overcome it. Not everybody has that kind of awareness. For that matter, I'll be very frank with all of you. As a psychologist, sometimes, with the pandemic fatigue that was there, it was difficult for me to kind of push myself and get myself out there. But I did seek help. I got some awareness because I had an insight that yes, I wanted to figure this out. So that is very important. That feeling or that emotion in you that wants to push yourself, basically, that can be attributed as insight. Yes. I wish I could tell it in Malayalam, but I probably can give it a shot, but it might not come out right. So yeah. തിരിച്ചറിവ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഭയങ്കര കൊളോക്കിയലായിട്ട് നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ കളിയാക്കി പറയുമ്പോൾ സ്വയബോധം എന്നൊക്കെ പറയില്ലേ, ദാറ്റ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് തിങ്. യെസ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇൻസൈറ്റ്. Anything else, guys? Anything else that I can help you with? So for future reference, if you guys have any doubts or queries, please feel free to reach out on the Care and Cure Pharmacy page. I can always, help you out. It affects on our mind. Yeah, sometimes we stay in the same place, so it affects our mind and behavior. I wouldn't deny that. The concept of weekends is also for that very reason. You need to have some time to cool off if you're working a lot or if you're in the same place for a lot of time, You need to have the kind of leisure or liberty to travel around or do something that is different from what you go through. Your life tends to become very monotonous. അപ്പം അങ്ങനെ ഭയങ്കര റിപ്പിറ്റേറ്റീവ് ആവുമ്പോൾ ഈ പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ നമ്മളുടെ ബ്രെയിനിനും നമ്മളുടെ ബോഡിക്കും ഭയങ്കര എക്സോസ്റ്റഡ് ഫീലിംഗ് വരാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. സോ ലൈക്ക് യു മെൻഷൻഡ്, it is very important to shift focus in those cases. ഇപ്പോൾ കോവിഡ് വന്നപ്പം വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻഡ് വാസ്, നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെ പുറത്തിറങ്ങാൻ പറ്റില്ല, ഒത്തിരി റിസ്ട്രിക്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്, ട്രാവൽ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല, അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒത്തിരി കാര്യങ്ങൾ. സോ how do you manage your anger or anxiety at that point? it's very important to have a routine. Okay, now when I say routine, it might sound a little silly, but having a timetable for yourself is very, very important. If your sleeping time, if the time that you have food, if the time that you spend for exercise or prayers, anything of that sort, if it's not fixed or if it's a little scattered here and there, um, that builds up, that grows on you, and it tends to be a little, you know, very irritating. So have a timetable for yourself. Practice some relaxation techniques, preferably, something like pranayama or breathing techniques, wherein you focus on your breath a little bit. This really helps, provided you do it every day, especially when you're anxious or angry. If you focus on the physical changes in yourself, that really helps. So when you get angry, it's not just an emotion that's coming out, or it's not just screaming or getting angry like that. There are some physical changes in your body. There are some changes in the hormones in your body. So if you cannot regulate your emotions, if you can kind of ground yourself, and if you can focus on your breathing, or, the smell around you, the sound around you, the texture, probably the, sensation of the chair, this is grounding technique basically. You get more aware of your surroundings so you can prevent these outbursts. This is how grounding techniques help in managing anxiety, stress, or anger. I hope this helps. So the next time you feel a little angry, what you can do is, like I mentioned, focus on two sounds that are there around you. Basically, we are trying to stimulate the five senses in our body. That is, either focus on the sounds, or focus on two smells, or look at, two things that stimulate your vision, or try to feel something that is around you. Could be just a pen and paper, or you try to, calm yourself down by doing something of that sorts. Yeah. Show you a small breathing exercise. Yes, I would love to. So, yes, one thing that is very important in breathing exercises is your position, okay? Unconsciously, we tend to slouch. So, that's not a good thing at all, because your passage kind of curves, and that restricts the air that goes in. Not just that, your posture is also very important, like I mentioned. So yes, get yourself straight, ground yourself, make sure that you're feeling the chair that you're sitting on. Place your feet firm on the floor. Your palm can be any way that you're comfortable with, like probably like this, or like this, right? And close your mouth. Don't breathe through your mouth. When you talk a lot, you tend to breathe a lot through your mouth, so that's not good. The filtration does not happen. So yes, you sit like this. You exhale out all the air. You push out the air. You hold your breath, preferably for 7 seconds or to the count of 7. And then you exhale out like this through your mouth. Okay? So you that way. So you see the chest rising when you breathe in. That is important. You hold your breath. You do this and your chest goes in, right? So this is one way, and you can probably take it to the count of 10. That really helps. Yeah. So I guess we're good for now. I don't want to bore all of you by talking a lot. If you guys have any doubts, feel free to reach out to me or on the Care and Cure Pharmacy page. Yeah. Thank you so much for being patient. We tried to work out the live as a 2-person thing, but it didn't work out. Thanks for listening, and I will see you guys sometime soon. Bye-bye. Good night.